RWBY Volume 5 Chapter 4 Lighting the Fire has officially released. So let me break it down for you. So Yang and still unnamed character stop in the middle of the forest. The man calls Yang an idiot for letting her bring him here because he and his people, who are a part of Raven's tribe, ambush her. Now there is so much wrong with what happens in this scene. Never in RWBY have I ever felt like there was bad dialogue that happened. Not once has that thought ever crossed my mind. But here, this was bad dialogue. Is this everyone? Yeah, this is everyone, unless you count the camp in that direction. The camp is over there? Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for that information. What is that dialogue? Why did it need to be that unnecessarily convenient? It didn't even need to be in the episode, because we see later they bring her there anyway. She doesn't need to know the direction if they lead her there. So, on top of that awful conversation, the fact that he called Yang an idiot in this scenario is mind-boggling. I led you here exactly where you asked me to take you, and somehow she's the idiot. My goodness. So Yang deals with everyone because, of course, what else would happen? Also, how does this defend against bullets? It doesn't. I tell you that right now, it doesn't. Alright, I'm getting picky. So we cut to Team Ranger. RWBY is sparring with Oscar on a bit of hand-to-hand combat. Ren and Nora basically give us a rundown on how semblances and aura work again, just in case you forgot from Volume 1. The slightly new bit of information is Ren says that a person's semblance is defined by your character and personality. However, that statement is immediately backstepped with Ren saying that many don't see a connection whatsoever. So, one step forward, one step back that statement was. But Jean is embarrassed by the size of his semblance because he's never been able to get it up, no matter what he does. Ozpin gives some teaching lessons about growing your semblance. That was the real purpose of this scene, just to teach you a little bit more about aura and semblances. Anyway, back with Yang, she finally comes face to face with Raven again. Ah yes, all this time, it's been a whole 3 volumes since you last came face to face. Then again, who knows what that scene was because it was never expanded upon. We come to learn that Yang wasn't in fact interested in finding Raven. Instead, she wanted to use her semblance to get to RWBY. We learned that Raven's semblance is portals. She can make a portal to a specific few people, Yang, Tai, and Crow. But Raven tries to dissuade Yang, saying that RWBY is a lost cause. She throws some shade onto Ozpin, saying that she once trusted him, and that was a bad decision to make. But Yang doesn't care about any potential warning signs and only wants to get to her sister, and Raven shoos her away. Yang gets angry and starts this fight and punches a guy, revealing Weiss. Weiss breaks out of the cage, there's a sweet mini reunion, Vernal does some lightning, and Raven changes her mind on her decision, I guess, and the episode ends there. As you probably could have already guessed, I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode. I've been seeing people sing this episode's praise on Twitter, in the comments, everywhere. People have been saying how good this episode was. And honestly, glad they enjoyed it. I recognize I'm probably in the minority for this. So, let me explain why I didn't enjoy this episode. Well, first actually, I thought that the end scene with Weiss and Yang hugging I liked because it hit me in the feels. I thought it was sweet. But in hindsight, I don't know whether or not I really did like it. Weiss's arc that she was going through seemed to have a general theme, and that was her standing on her own 2 feet. She relied on her father, the company, the money, all that, so now she's on her own. When she was captured, she threatened them that Winter was gonna be angry and come get her, only to find out that Winter wasn't there, still playing on Weiss having to be her own person, not relying on other people for support. And this whole thing this episode just seemed like a solution, just not the best solution. It's like playing a stealth game, getting your cover blown, and just mowing everyone down with a machine gun. Yeah, that is one way you could have dealt with everything, but it kind of misses the point. That's where I'm torn with this scene, because it did feel sweet and happy, but it just seemed like an easy solution to Weiss's problem. Next, Raven and her tribe. I've come to learn that anything that is feared and people think are scary in terms of groups and organizations and stuff are only scary to the everyday residents of Remnant. Raven's tribe was not intimidating or impressive. It was just another group of individuals with 2 people who can do stuff. Raven's tribe, you have Raven and Vernal. Everyone else, just fodder. Junior's club, you got Junior, Melanie, Milsha, everyone else, fodder. White Fang, you got Adam and Torchwick when he was alive and working with them. Everyone else, just fodder. All these groups and organizations consist of 2 or 3 impressive people, while everyone else is just there to be beaten. It may have been impressive if the tribe took down Yang, but no, they were just there to be punched. They even move out of the way when Weiss's knight tries to run. Only to the civilians who can't do anything are these people actually scary. Now, my biggest problem with this episode was Yang. Yang, of the 4 main girls, is easily number 4 for me. I've expressed this before, I'm not a fan of characters I feel as though are badass for the sake of being badass. I'm not a fan of that. It's why I want Yang's PTSD to go somewhere, because Yang seems to lack a purpose in the show. Weiss's purpose is breaking free from her father. Blake's purpose is Adam and the White Fang. RWBY also kind of lacks a purpose, but at least there's a foreseeable future with RWBY and her mother. The writers are holding off on Summer's story. At least I can see where RWBY's story is gonna go. Yang, I don't know where she's supposed to be going and what she's supposed to be dealing with. Her PTSD at this point is like a car in a horror movie. The key is in the ignition and she's turning it, but it just refuses to start and go anywhere. It's like, it's gonna go, it's gonna start, nope, it's not starting. Oh, maybe now it's gonna turn on, nope, never mind. I want this car to go. They tease us with it in Volume 4, and it never went anywhere. And even now, just some shakes. She drops a cup last volume and gets triggered. She gets into a full-blown fight this episode, nothing. This is the problem that I'm having with Yang currently, and I feel as though she hasn't grown or learned anything. It's like the only thing that she took away from Tai specifically was that she uses her semblance too much, which yes, is true, but there was a lot more than just that he tried to tell her.
But you gotta keep your emotions in check. Keep a level head and think before you act.
Yang was far from a level head this episode. She threw a temper tantrum because her mom wouldn't give her what she wanted, and that enraged her enough to start another fight, leading to another one of Tai's lessons.
You both act like the easiest way to tackle an obstacle is through it. That strength is all that matters in a fight. But if you just take a second look, then maybe you see there's a way around as well.
Yang decided to go straight through, once again, with brute force. You'd imagine that after getting your arm cut off, she'd be a little more cautious not to underestimate people and start unnecessary fights. But once again, she did. And that's my biggest problem with Yang, is that I feel as though she's not learning anything and growing from her past mistakes. She's doing the same thing, just without using her semblance now. She's still starting fights. She still can't keep a level head. She's still the same person as back in Volume 1, aside from now, her hand shakes after a fight. And I'm disappointed even on that level. I probably would have preferred to see Yang lose this fight in this episode because she got triggered. But no, she was arguably better than ever when fighting this episode. I like Weiss because you can see her change and growth. I like Blake because you can see her change and growth. I'm tolerating RWBY because I can see where her arc is going to lead. They're just waiting for the right moment to start her arc. But Yang, I don't know what they're doing with her. She doesn't seem to have a greater goal that the writers are waiting to tell. She just seems to be there. And I want to speak nothing but positives about every character and enjoy everyone. But Yang, as of now, is doing nothing, and they're holding off on the one thing that gives her a lot of depth with her trauma. It's already been held off for too long, and I don't know what they're waiting for to start with Yang. As for the rest of this episode that I didn't mention, I liked it. The semblance lesson was appreciated. Raven's shade on Ozpin I'm interested in. I've expressed my not trusting of Ozpin in the past, so this definitely piques my interest. I love all the comments last episode saying that Ozpin is trustworthy because he said his and Oscar's soul would merge peacefully, and I shouldn't be skeptical because he said that. It's like, why would I take the word of someone I don't trust? If I want my suspicions about Ozpin's curse to be eased, the god who cursed him has to explain the rules. If I already don't trust Ozpin, I'm gonna be very wary of a lot of things that come out of his mouth. But we'll have to wait and see. So that was the episode. Be sure to let me know what you guys thought of the episode down in the comments, whether you liked it, whether you dislike it, whether you agree with me, or whether you don't agree with me. Be sure to let me know in the comments. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, follow me on all social medias, and I'll see you in the next video.